Okay, so with the pelvic tilt, basically think of a string on the low back, pulling up, string on the belly button, pulling down. So it's really just the low portion of the low back. It's not the whole body. You don't want to arch upper and lower, like you're contracting the middle of your back and all of the erectors all the way through, because that's going to expand the stomach and make actually the stomach look bigger because we're stretching up the rib cage. So a pelvic tilt is just the lower half of your low back and your hips basically rolling down for the ground. So the pelvic tilt is what we want to add into the pose. Otherwise, if I don't have a pelvic tilt and I do this, I'm doing the kind of dip where I'm like, oh, take a photo with your friends, like smile, and I'm dipping. But what ends up happening is the low portion of the belly kind of comes up. So in this case, it's almost gonna feel like you're doing like a glute bridge or a hip thrust, because my butt is actually pushing into my hips and my hips are then pushing up to the ceiling. So the difference of here, again, bringing the stomach upwards, versus if I stay as I am in my leg placement, pelvic tilt, then sit into the hip like, oh, smile, like you're again taking that photo with your friends, leaning into a hip, but we've added pelvic tilt into that dip. Again, otherwise, if you go pelvic tilt, sit out the side of the hip, but you drop the glutes under, then the stomach's gonna get bigger. So this kind of has like the attitude and kind of like that fun, flirty vibe, but you're gonna get a bigger stomach. If you're gonna have this position, at minimum, you really wanna twist the back hip away, because then at least we can see the obliques better and we can see a little bit more of the glutes. But if we sit out that back hip and we're kind of at a 45-degree angle to the camera, then we're gonna get more of the stomach here. So you really wanna twist that back hip to the side, but even in which case you wanna be careful that the upper body is not arching too far backwards, or you're gonna end up with more rib cage, kind of a bigger stomach and less glutes, and you'll have basically a dominant upper body over the legs. And it kind of throws the balance of the pose off. But if you did that same thing, but you just added the pelvic tilt and sit out the backside, then you'd pretty much be done there.